right, everyone. Good evening. As the time I'm recording this, good evening. Or if you're listening to this, good morning, good afternoon, or anything in between. My name is Cooper. Welcome back to another episode of the Yap-Sesh podcast. Like I just said, I am your host, and today we're going to be doing kind of the similar situation here, where we just have a little bit of yabber jabber in the front, and then we kind of divulge into a specific topic towards the end. I have a couple topics here, just around 5 that I would want to briefly talk about, and then we're gonna get into Reddit. Am I the asshole stories? We're gonna get into just a few, not a whole lot. I don't necessarily anticipate this episode being super long, as opposed to my last one, which was an hour and 38 minutes, which is crazy. But I do want to say thank you so much for the support of 45 views in 10 days, which it was more about like 45 views in a week, but that is obviously almost double of what I am used to getting. Let alone I'm used to getting 10, 11 views, and all of a sudden it shot up to 45, which is crazy. So thank you so incredibly much for the support and kind of just tuning in into the podcasts anyway. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. I also would like to throw out a thank you for the good response on my Ready or Not, but if we die, read and drink video. It's become my 4th most popular video I've ever uploaded pretty quickly. So very, very grateful for that. And again, the audience, you guys, either for my main channel or my podcast channel, are the ones to be. I'm the one to thank for that. So again, I greatly appreciate you. Wouldn't be here without you. So I just wanted to toss that out. Sorry if you heard that. I'm so sorry. My throat was swelling and I was panicking there for a second. I thought I was like choking on air or something. Anyways, just some lighthearted just some lighthearted talk that I'm going to be doing before we get into Am I the Asshole. I do want to say this is the first ever live streamed episode of the Yap-Sesh podcast. I want to be able just to exclaim that right now because I think that's fucking awesome. I'm not necessarily in front of any chat. Because I'm yawning. Because it is 1:08 in the morning. But, we had a little bit of a chat going for about an hour, which was cool. But I'm new to this whole streaming thing, so I'm not expecting a large audience or anything like that. But we've gained 2 followers in 2 streams that I've done, so that's a pretty good starting point for someone who's never considered doing this as a particular hobby or particular career. Streaming's never been something that I prefer doing. I'm more of a YouTube guy. But for streaming, for me to go ahead and get 2 followers immediately is pretty cool, at least in my regard. So, I mean, I'm cool with it. But at least so far, my experience with it has been good. A difficult part of streaming that I never really realized was setting up streaming. So I'm using OBS right now because my audio is good on both desktop mic. I have multiple desktop audios, but it's just good for me to already know my number on decibels and things like that to already be set. So I feel like my mic audio is really good right now, as opposed to if it would be if I switched to Streamlabs, which was wildly different last time I used it. Last time I used it, I had a rinky-dink setup on there with, it's not rinky-dink, but it was like semi-professional. Now I have a professional setup, but it was a Rode Procaster microphone. It was Procaster. That with a, what did I have? It was a weird name. Bear Dynamic? No, it's not Bear Dynamics, but it starts with an X, but it's like something along those lines. And it was this overly complicated board that I just was not completely aware of how to manage. So to me, it ended up being a little bit more difficult to navigate and get used to. Sorry, I hit the keyboard. Than it would be than the Go XLR that I have right now. So my experience so far has been relatively better, just based off of my mic audio setup alone. But it's more difficult when I'm setting up Streamlabs because it's used to my audio and everything over there. So now I have to get it used to now. I'm doing this thing where I yawn a lot. So now I'm getting used to my setup now, but everything's set up on OBS, but I have like my viewer count on there. I have live chat on there. I have followers. I have sub count, like sub alerts, follow alerts, and things like that. So it's just been weird because there's obviously more eye grabbing stuff on there than there is here, but I'm so used to it. But then again, it's only my second stream. So if I were to stream tomorrow, then different story. Then in that way, I could easily navigate it as long as I can, have a couple hours to get used to it. But it took me a little bit just to set it up on OBS. Setting up streaming on OBS took me like 30 minutes just because I didn't know stream keys, linking, and all that stuff. It just took me a second just because I'm not used to Twitch. And I don't remember my passwords and all that. And I had to delete some previous accounts that I did when I was like 13. So there were some accounts that I had to get rid of because they were linked to my emails that I just didn't want to be a part of anymore. So, it's life. You get older and you realize that some emails that you make are cringe and some that you don't make or that you just leave in the dust actually have some stuff on there that you wish that you would like to be deleted, and the Twitch account for me was one of them. So I'm glad I finally got rid of it. So there you go. Kind of moving from streaming is my uploads. They've been kind of shit. They've been kind of off and on, really. If you hear some whooshes, it's just my tabs opening up in multiple ways. So I do apologize if that is a bother to you guys, but there was no whoosh. Cool. But I mean, I went from a weekly to now I'm about to do bi-weekly, which wasn't my intention. I was gonna have a video out last week, which I definitely said on last episode, but Easter. I forgot about Easter, and how busy I would be regarding that weekend. I wasn't particularly like the busiest person, but it was just I would rather, enjoy the weekend with my family and dedicate my entire mindset to them rather than like worry about getting a video out and like homework and shit. Like I managed to get homework done prior to the trip or prior to my visit down there, and I managed to register for classes and do all of that, so it wasn't that big of a struggle. But still, just the thought of me kind of cowering away and working on a video while my parents are downstairs and wanting to hang out with me and have a meaningful conversation just kind of bothers me. Now it does. In high school I wouldn't give a shit, but now it bothers me because I really cherish the time I have with my parents. So it's definitely something that I'm getting used to, or not getting used to, but that sounded stupid. Not getting used to, but more appreciative of their time as opposed to me being suctioned into a computer. That's an infinitely better way to put it. So I'm going to leave it there. But again, I do apologize with the lack of uploading. Again, it's not my intention. It's never my intention to leave in that regard, especially since I am trying to gain a following. And the reception was good for not uploading in a month. The reception was great. 319 views, almost 320 views on a video that I made pretty quickly. I recorded and made that video probably in about 12 hours. It's pretty good. I'll take it. I literally, did the video, woke up, did the video, went to bed, woke up, edited it, uploaded it. So, it was pretty cool. But you should see a video out really soon within the next couple days, whether it be a best of 1000 or you're going to see some YouTube shorts. That's like a given. You're going to see some YouTube shorts, so don't fret about those. For those who like my short form content, I know there's some, but there's going to be some more short form content on the way. I just, you know, I definitely prefer the videos rather than the shorts, but the shorts get heaps of views. They've kind of fallen off. Like I went from 800 to 1000 to 215 to 932, which Helldivers doesn't really do numbers anymore, unfortunately. I wish it did numbers, but it's just not a game that it's fun to play, but it's not a good game to record. That's something that I'm learning. The Peak Harbor Butcher, which is my most, or not most viewed, my most recent short, it was low-key, the reception was kind of shit. I was expecting it to be 2,000 views, 3,000 views, ended up stopping pretty abruptly at 932 and then just not going any further in the algorithm, which kind of sucks, which actually really sucks. But, you know, I got a 6.5 thousand view video. I got, I kind of glue around the 1,000 view mark. I don't really go above that. There were 2 videos, I think, that go above that. Am I missing a... Pardon me, my short of my... Did my short get deleted? Excuse you. I apologize, guys. I am just... My short of Earth to Echo, my very hard-working short that I made, is deleted. It got deleted. Interesting. Don't know why that is, but you live and you learn. Oh, it didn't get deleted. Never mind. Hey, guys. Sorry, I lied. False alarm. And I was so caught up on the Earth to Echo one that I missed that there were 3 shorts that just don't show up on my home screen but show up on my shorts. So, different scenario, I guess. So, never mind. I apologize. In that regard, at least. That scared the shit out of me. I'm not even gonna lie. That scared the shit out of me. I was like, dude, I worked so hard for... Apologies. I worked so hard for that, and then it just goes away. Anyways. No, guys, it didn't. Anyways. So, future uploads. You're gonna get a video. It's either gonna be the best of 1,000, or it's gonna be the best of 1,000, or it's gonna be the... whatchamacallit. Another video that I have cooking up. To be completely honest, I don't know what video I would be cooking yet. I don't really have one in the cards. I have a peak one, but I looked at it recently and it didn't really strike my fancy. There's like a couple clips that I could get out of it, but not a whole lot, honestly. It's just kind of a blur. I had a split fiction, guys. Oh my god. I had the funniest video, or up there with the funniest video I've ever recorded. And it was a split fiction video with my friend Zach, my best friend Zach. And I shit you not, my recording software that I use, I don't use OBS for that sort of stuff because sometimes it does encoding errors and it fucks up the recording really bad. And so I don't really fuck with it, at least in regards to recording big things like this. Now, if it comes to streaming, sure, I'll stream it and I'll record at the same time just because it interlaps and it just works. But when it comes to recording, for some reason, it fucks it up. So I prefer to use like the Radeon software that comes with my graphics card, and it didn't end up working properly. And it pissed me off because it was like 2 hours of just the funniest shit of just him and I figuring out what the fuck we're doing, and the conversations were funny, the commentary was great, the chemistry was so good. And then like the recording just didn't appear, and it didn't have like we didn't notice until like 3 hours after the recording was done, and we are like a quarter through the game, and bam, it out of nowhere. I was like, Zach, I don't think it recorded, and he was like, what do you mean? I was like, the file's not here. We lost our mind, bro. It was so tragic. And I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, like, what are you gonna do? I couldn't even fathom. It was so annoying. Like, it was so annoying. Um, God, it was so annoying. I'm still like so pissed about it because it would have made such a good video, and that would have been one of those videos that I would have like I would have edited over the weekend 100%. At least when I was in my room going to bed, I would have 1,000,000% put my effort into, just even for that second. Like, it was so worth it. It was so worth it. But unfortunately, it didn't come to fruition. And now I have to find another game to play that would be not entertaining, but like grasping, or at least like that holds on to the audience for a long period of time. But what I'm learning is the beginning of the video has to be the most entertaining by far. And then the longer that you go into the video, the more the people stay, as long as that first like 2 to 3 minutes is like super entertaining. If the first 2 to 3 minutes, maybe even 4, is super entertaining, as long as you keep that momentum, even a little bit, it's like you're gonna get longer watch times. But with the videos that I'm getting, or the analytics that I'm getting, I learned through my previous videos that if it's not super entertaining through the first 20 seconds, no one's gonna fucking watch. No one's gonna fucking watch. And it's tragic and it's brutal. And so I'm learning that, and that's a difficult thing to learn, at least right now, when I have 1.3K subs, and I would rather have, 10. But, monetization's a bitch. I gotta figure out monetization. I gotta get there eventually, and I'm hoping to get there by the end of the summer, because I'm going to be doing weekly uploads, because all I have to do is my internship over the summer, and which is 8 to 5, and then I come home and I'll game and I'll record, and then there'll be some times when I go and I upload a video, or I'll edit instead of playing the games, and then I'll upload a video one week, and then I'll farm, or not farm, but I'll play games during a certain time, and then upload a video. Like, it might go to bi-weekly just because of my internship and things like that, but I mean, weekly to bi-weekly isn't bad either. It's a good thing. That way you can keep momentum going, as opposed to just hitting a brick wall every month like I've been doing, because it ramped up. I got 1.8K views, and then I just stopped. So that was dumb of me. But it was literally a month ago. Damn, 4 weeks ago, I landed back in the country. That's crazy to me. 4 weeks ago, I was back in America. Golly, son, that's crazy. 1, 2, 3. Golly, 4 weeks ago, I was back in the country. Fuck, dude. I miss Chile so much. I think about it all the time. If there was a country that I would go back to, I miss Sweden so much. Honestly, if I would go again. It's weird, because every time I think about what country I would go back to, it flips. I would go back to Chile in an instant, but I would go to Sweden in an instant as well. I loved Sweden. I loved it. I think the hotel situation was worse than mine in Chile, but there was more shit to do as well. But I was busier. The stuff that the stuff that I did when I was in Sweden was less entertaining than it was when I was in Chile, if that makes sense. I preferred the things that I was scheduled to do, because it was a study abroad trip through my business school was Chile, so it made sense for me to go, or like to love going to Chile for those reasons. If there was a Swedish trip for the business school, You bet your ass I would prefer Sweden over Chile just because the shit there, the itinerary that we did was more healthcare related, and I realized that healthcare is not really my speed, and so I just kind of dipped away from it naturally. So it wasn't necessarily my favorite thing to do, but the people that I was with made it super fun, and I would go back in a heartbeat. I love Sweden. It's so expensive though. Sweden is such an expensive country. For those who live there, I love your country. It's beautiful. I love the modes of transportation that you provide. The Lime scooters are the goat. It's simply one of the most beautiful countries I've ever been to. I would live there easily in an instant. I would be there so fast. I love your country. God, I love your country. Um, but you're pricey. You're very pricey. I'm an international business major. You could very well see me living in Sweden very soon. Oh, please, 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 let me get a job that lands me in Sweden, please. I would be so overwhelmingly thrilled. So thrilled to live over there. Oh, please, Lord. I fucking love that country. Um Chile ain't bad either. Trust. I love Chile. God, I love that I love that trip so much too. Like it was so much fun. The people were so sweet. Everybody was awesome. Super reciprocative to love and emotion. Like everybody was just like when you compliment somebody, you can tell that they really like felt it, and they were like, "Oh my god, thank you so much." Like telling someone that they're incredible over there, or like that they're amazing and that they're a great server or great hostess or whatever, really like hits them when it's like, "Oh my god, really? You think that? That's so sweet. Thank you." As opposed to here when she was like, "Oh yeah, thanks. Whatever." Like it it's received better, or at least it's back to you. They're more like genuine about receiving a compliment, as opposed to here where it's more just like throwing a card like a rock at a wall and just here's a compliment, wham, and then it's just like, oh, okay, whatever. So there's a imbalance there, but it's dude, the people of Chile are the citizens of Chile are just the sweetest people I've ever had the pleasure to talk to. Um, the Chilean people, and then the Swedish people as well. But I talk to I talk to more Chilean people just because the the group I was with was more standoffish. And that we were more clicky in Sweden. We were more clicky. And to be fair, I had a girlfriend when I was in Sweden, so I wasn't like outwardly trying to be um impressive or like flaunt or whatever. Um, Whereas now, I mean, I'm trying to be more social. You know, I'm trying to like, hey, like whatever. So I'm gonna be a little bit more socially extroverted when I'm in another country, just because it's like, why the fuck not? It's me. Like I don't have anybody to um go back home to. So why the hell not? So it's just one of those situations where um like hindsight, I would have had more fun in Sweden if I like opened my horizons, but I chose not to in respect for the lady or the girlfriend that I had at the time, which holistically if I would go back I would be more outgoing, which I just said, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. I don't regret anything I did on that trip. It was awesome. I went to a club for the first time in Sweden. I went to the ice bar. My God, their drinks are so good over there. They do. Every country that I've been to so far does drinks better than America does. It's crazy. Like Chile has better drinks than America does. Sweden has drinks better than America, and it's not even close. Like drinks here are like uh, just sugar, but over there it's like natural juices and it tastes fresh and it's refreshed. Like when I haven't had an alcoholic beverage in America that is refreshing. Like I feel refreshed after I drink it. I feel thirsty, like I get more thirsty after I drink something here. But over there or in Chile, it's made with like this the freshest fruit and freshest juices I've ever tasted in my life. And voila, it is it's refreshing to have alcohol over there for some reason. Like and I'm not here promoting alcoholism or alcoholics or anything like that or any matter. I don't want to say I don't want to say but However, they taste great. They taste great over there. I'm not promoting it. I'm not promoting any sort of alcohol consumption or anything like that. I'm just pointing out that if you want to go have a drink at dinner, it makes more sense to go have a drink at dinner in Chile than it does in America. Just solely based on the fact that at the end of the dinner, you're not gonna have to go and get water somewhere else. You're gonna leave refreshed in every facet or part of your body. Um, that's all I'm saying. I'm not promoting alcohol icks. I'm not promoting alcoholism or alcohol consumption. Just stating a fact. Anyways, we're gonna move on before I dig myself into a grave. We're gonna talk about some Formula One, some racing that I've just been catching on to. Not a lot. For those who watch Formula One, as opposed to those who don't, you know that Mercedes has won every race this season, even though it's only been what, 3, 4. You had Australia, China, Japan. If I'm missing one, I don't think I am. I'm just gonna check because I think Bahrain got canceled, right? Saudi Arabia got canceled. Bahrain, Chinese. Yeah. Okay, I'm right. Okay, I was about to say I watched them. I don't know if. I was about to say I watched them. I don't know if. Which kind of sucks because the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix is one of my favorite. I love watching Jeddah. I love the Jeddah circuit so much. But for those who don't know, right now, their Mercedes has a 100% pole to win rate. George Russell has pole and he won the race, and then Kimi Antonelli won the Chinese GP and the Japanese Grand Prix, which, hey, that's nothing short of impressive. Andrea Kimi Antonelli is one of the greatest drivers on the grid. Not even gonna lie. The future of F1 is Piastri, Antonelli, Ollie Behrman, and Gabby Bortoleto. Those are the future stars of F1. I don't see them leaving F1 anytime soon. I honestly keep Charles Leclerc in there too. I see Charles Leclerc staying too. He's just a talent that will probably never leave. But as in regards to the youth, Ollie Behrman and Kimi Antonelli are going nowhere anytime soon. It is so impressive how Ollie Behrman is just slamming that Haas car in points consistently, like P7, P5. It's unbelievable, and I don't even blame him for the DNF in the Japanese Grand Prix. Like, that's just a really shitty accident. It was unfortunate. Like, I hated watching that just because of how, I don't know, it hurt my heart. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think he deserves all the love in the world. He's just a sweetheart. So no hate to him at all, but it's that car. He manages to throw that car in the best possible scenario he could. It's so impressive to me how he manages to do that. So big up to him. It is shocking to me how good he is in that car. Seriously. So big up, big up. But I mean, like I said, the Mercedes Masterclass being able to recover after 4 years, like 2021, and then you just, after 2021, you fully reset as a company. Like, you were a top contender, obviously. You were getting wins, like, consistently. Like, you wouldn't go a couple races without a podium or a win. Duh. A couple's crazy. I would say, like, 3. I'd say 3, because usually it would either be a Mercedes or a Ferrari competing for a podium, or, every now and again you'd get your midfield car to shoot up into the top spot. So, there would be, I would say, every 2 to 3, maybe even 3 to 4 races, there would be a Mercedes podium or win, especially in George Russell with, I think it was Brazilian Grand Prix he won 2 years ago, and then he won many races last season. So George Russell's a demon in that car, but he's not my favorite driver. I think he's a little full of himself. He's a nice guy, but he's got a facade. It's a facade, I think. So I'm not fully kind of into what he's preaching at the moment, but or into the person he presents himself to be, at least not right now. But I mean, I just think it's cool, man. I think everything about the sport has been awesome. The new regulations are kind of mid. I'm not gonna lie. There's a good reception on them, but I mean, the drivers hate them. It's clearly not entertaining for them, and you can definitely tell an F1 quality difference based on how they're driving the car. Obviously, they're competing for first place, but when everybody hates the car, they're driving angrily and like in a form of resentment almost. And like every time you leave a race or when you're watching something, it's just like the energy's negative. Like whenever I'm watching something or one of these races, it's just like blah blah blah. Like this race sucks because the cars suck and all this stuff. But the liveries are awesome. I think the cars look cool as shit. But it's the way that they were designed in order to prioritize this fucking battery is complete and utter bullshit that I just don't agree with or like at all. Unfortunately, like I wanted to like it really bad, but the way that they drive and the way that it is so reliant on battery, it's like a game of iPhone of just who has the most battery and who can charge it quicker and who can utilize it the best. It's not a game of racing anymore. It's just energy utilization, which sucks. Like I don't want to be that guy, but that is a shame. I don't like F1 should not be that at all. So, I mean, I'm sorry, but that's just what it is for me. I can't really think about it any more than that. However, for my birthday, I'm going to the Miami Grand Prix, and I am beyond excited for that. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm so excited. It's the first ever F1 Grand Prix I've ever been to. Like, come on, man. I mean, I've never been to the city of Miami. I've heard great things. I'm just gonna have the time of my life, bro. That weekend, Pitbull's throwing a concert there. Like, come the fuck on, man. You mean to tell me that? Like, come on, man. Come on. You can't do that to me. You can't do that to me. Um, it's gonna be the most hype weekend of my life by far, and I'll be out of school, fresh out of exams, just before my senior year of college, and I'm sending it to F1. Come on, bro. Like, I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna be mooching off of everybody. Yo, you spare me a job? One employee. I'm about to graduate. One employee. Like, sauce me a career, yo. Sauce me a career. So, I'm gonna be that bitch. And I'm gonna be annoying. My parents are gonna be so sick of me because I'm gonna be yapping and talking so fucking much about everything F1. I'm gonna be spending so much fucking money over there too. Like, good God, it's gonna be atrocious. So, yeah, very, 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 very excited. Wait for it. Very excited about this trip. Cannot, hey, you know what I can't do? Stress to you how excited I am about this trip. So, with that being said, my man, or my people, my lovely people, we're going to move to the next order of business. I don't really have a lot of business. It was just kind of me yapping about life itself. We're about 30 minutes in. So, I mean, not bad. I honestly thought I would be ending it pretty soon, but I don't think so. We're going to move on to the Am I the Asshole Reddit posts here, and then we might move on to some more, sorry about the whoosh. We might move on to something a little different. We will see. I don't really have anything else in mind. I just wanted to read a couple of these out of sheer curiosity. Where did that go? Oh, there we go. Sorry, I got a request on Reddit to text me, and I'm like, no. All right, we got the first one here. It's pretty short, so whatever. If I yawn during reading this, I apologize. I just want to be formally aware. All right. This was posted 2 days ago. Am I the asshole for saying I don't give a fuck about my roommate's baby? Rough start. I'm 27 female and I have a roommate 25 female. Originally it was me and my roommate, but she got pregnant by her boyfriend, causing her boyfriend to move in. That's crazy. At first it wasn't a big deal. He wasn't loud and my roommate didn't really bother me. But as the months passed and she got more pregnant, she started becoming more entitled and rude. Hormones. For an example, she would constantly steal my food, and when I would try to confront her, she would play the pregnancy cravings card. But the day that finally made me snap was the day I brought home a small personal pumpkin pie. I wrote my name on the box and put it in the fridge. Later, when I went to go get some, she was literally standing there eating the pie. Honestly, I wouldn't have cared if she only took a slice, but this bitch was literally eating the whole thing. And fed up with her always eating my food, I got mad and yelled at her. I asked her why she was eating my pumpkin pie, knowing that it wasn't for her. She started crying and said that she was pregnant and she can't help that the baby was craving pumpkin pie. In a fit of rage, I yelled at her and I said, I don't give a fuck about your dumbass baby. She gasped dramatically, like I just said something world shattering, and she ran off to tell her boyfriend what I said. Later, he called me a bitch for yelling at a pregnant woman who can't control her craving. So, am I the asshole for saying I don't give a fuck about my roommate's baby? No, I don't think so. I think the comments here have a good one. Have a good point. You were in the apartment. If the baby, quote unquote, was craving pumpkin pie, then quote unquote mama could have taken 10 steps, knocking the door and asked if she could have some. Boom. Like, there you go. I think that settles it pretty quickly. Given the fact that you have pregnancy cravings doesn't immediately eliminate you from accountability for asking to eat someone else's food in the apartment. I'm just saying. That could be completely different in a whole different circumstance, but in my view of it, and I have 3 other roommates who live in an apartment with me, and they're the sweetest people ever. But if they were taking my food, I wouldn't give a fuck. That's just who I am. But I've roomed with them for 2 years. If they started eating my food, I wouldn't give a shit. They're medical students. They probably need it more than I do. I'm a business student, so I mean, I'm not worried about it at all. So with that being said, I don't think she's the asshole, and I think the mom needs to be newly arriving mother should be a little bit more aware of the roommate's feelings feelings and food, property ownership, whatever, instead of just being entitled to whatever because you're pregnant. Shit situation though. But it's whatever. Let me find another one. Oh, okay. This is weird, but it's whatever. Am I the asshole for wanting to continue taking my nightly showers? Interesting. So me, 29, and my boyfriend, 28, have a 6-month-old. Oh my God, we're going back to the pregnancy. Have a 6-month-old baby who is exclusively breastfed. Every night she wants to be nursed to sleep, which is fine, but I also like to take a shower every night before getting into bed. Nothing wrong with that. So sometimes after I get her to sleep, I'll do some things before my shower, like do dishes, clean up a little, or whatever. But lately she's been waking up after about 45 and crying and won't settle unless I get back in bed with her. We co-sleep, and I put her on the boob. So tonight I fed her and went right into the shower rather than doing my usual cleaning because I knew I had about 45 minutes, but his dog started barking at something and woke her up. I had to get out of the shower halfway and settle her. But now he's telling me that I need to start showering during the day and I can't shower at night because she always wakes up. But like no one's here to help me during the day, so I just feel like at night it makes the most sense. I also feel like he needs to learn how to settle her because it's not fair that all her responsibilities on me and I can't even take a freaking shower before bed. Anyway, am I being unreasonable? Like I want to continue to shower at night before going to bed, but I don't know, maybe I'm not being fair to him and our baby. No, dog. You're very fair. He's the asshole. The husband seems a little, I don't know your husband and your situation regarding you know, your marital status or like financial status. I don't know if he comes back super late and he's just super tired, whatever. But it feels like when you have a baby, you kind of you put yourself into overdrive and you start contributing around like sometimes look man, that wife just gave birth. She's a whole different person. Like she has the stress of a baby to deal with. I don't know if she goes to work. I don't know what her situation is at all. However, what I do know is the fact that he needs to put in work too. It's not a 50-50 thing. Sometimes the woman may feel 40% and he needs to be 160% in order to benefit both of them. So I think if you want to go take a shower and you don't want to clean up, then he needs to go clean up while you shower. And if the baby wakes up, then hey, it might be because you're cleaning up. It might be because the dog's barking. It might be because you're showering. But you can't blame it on her all the time. That's not her problem. That's not like the husband just needs to be more responsible for the house as opposed to just himself. So, no, you're not the asshole. Okay? I think she's doing great. So, yeah, what the fuck? That's stupid. Let's do, let's sort by top. What does this even mean? Oh, this is a long one. Prepare. This is an essay. Am I the asshole for leaving my best friend's birthday party early because I was a B-list guest? What does that even mean? Throw away for privacy. Though this is a pretty specific incident and anyone who knows the situation will probably be able to identify me anyway. Cool. I, 29 female, have been good friends with Sally, 30 female, since we were 8 years old. We were inseparable throughout school, but we went to different colleges. I visited her a few times each year, she'd visit me, and we'd always meet up at Christmas and summer breaks. After we graduated, I moved about a 3-hour drive from where she moved to. We still caught up often. As normally happens, we established our new professional and social lives. Drifted apart, but whenever we caught up, it was like no time had passed. We were there for each other whenever we needed it, and when she got married at 25, I was a bridesmaid. I declined maid of honor because I was concerned with the long commute. I couldn't do all the maid of honor duties required or expected. Fair. She drove to my place to support me when my father had a stroke. I stayed with her when she found out her ex-husband cheated and filed for divorce. And she filed for divorce. I always figured that even though life has taken us in different directions, we're always there for each other. That's sweet. Now to her birthday. She turned 30 last week and had a huge party this past weekend. Since it was a milestone birthday, she had it at a banquet hall, all catered, DJ, etc. It was a night. That's kind of crazy. So I booked a hotel, drove up, and would drive back home the next day. When I arrived, I was ushered into a small room with 4 tables and about 10 other people. There was a portable TV and on a trolley with a stream of the party in the bigger room. One of the guests told me Sally invited more people than the main hall could accommodate, and she'd hoped for after a few RSVP'd, no, we'd all fit in. What? She invited more than the main hall could accommodate, and she'd hoped after a few people RSVP'd, no, we'd all fit in. Oh, so like decline the invitation. But only 1 or 2 people RSVP'd no. So the venue opened a second room for excess guests. I saw it in the stream, new people arriving after I did, so I knew I was clearly regulated to the B-lister room and wasn't brought there because the main room was already filled up. So I left after 15 minutes and took my gift with me. The next day, as I was preparing to check out of the hotel, Sally called and asked why I didn't show. Apparently, she kept to the leftovers room to mingle about 30 minutes after I left and noticed I wasn't there. I told her I did attend, but I didn't realize I'd be watching a stream of her party instead of attending it, which I could have done at home. She asked if I wanted to catch up for lunch and I can give her my gift then, but I told her I needed to get back home because I had plans for the afternoon. Cue the Instagram story about how people who claim to love her don't show up, and she can't help that so many people wanted to celebrate her. During my drive home, her mother left a voicemail saying she was very disappointed in me. But I'm here like I'm supposed to be one of your best friends and I got the leftover experience. Did I overreact? Am I the asshole here? No. The whole problem of this whole situation is the fact that you did attend. If you didn't attend and you were like lying to her and saying that you did, different story. Number one, or number two, you're 30 and the mother is calling you to like downplay you. That's crazy. That's absurd. That shouldn't be. That's not mature at all. That's an immediate red flag as to how immature this family is, acts, all the above. Just for that one statement alone, I automatically don't think she's in the wrong at all. Even keeping the gift, I don't think that was bad. I think the statements that she made was valid. I don't think that Sally is in the right here at all. I think giving a best friend, potential maid of honor, a B-list room is not something that should be. It's not fair at all. Like that's not fair in the slightest. So no, I don't blame her at all. She's not the asshole. A lot of these, or some at least right now, is, I mean, becoming pretty obvious that you're not the asshole. However, I will say, if you're 30 and having a gala and doing all this mess hall, DJ, catered food, extra room bullshit, I don't know if it's a woman thing, but if I was a guy and my guy friend was doing that shit, no, dude, that's cringe as fuck. That's cringe as fuck, bro. Like, don't, no. I wouldn't even, like, if someone was celebrating their 30th birthday, unless they were literally either my brother or my right-hand man, I'm not going. Like, no chance. That's some bullshit. So no, I don't think you're the asshole at all. I think it was incredibly immature for her to do that anyway, or at least do an event like that. I think it was kind of stupid. So, nope. What the fuck is this? This is super short. Am I the asshole for telling a boy that losing my family in a war isn't the same as moving houses? What the fuck? So I, 16 female, was talking to a 15-year-old boy at school. I was telling him about my parents' hometown in Ukraine, which was completely bombed in the Russia-Ukraine war. My grandparents, their families, cousins, nephews, practically everyone died. He responded with, "Oh, I get that. One time I had to move houses, so it was like losing a whole ward to me." I told him that's not really the same. He got angry, shoved me, and I said, "What the fuck's your problem?" Rightfully so. Next thing I know, I'm being sent to the principal's office. This is in New Jersey, by the way. Am I the asshole here? No. No. This person says it perfectly. At 15, he should have learned enough history, if not watching the news, to understand a little bit about the concept at war and things ending/people dying is not the same as moving cities. He didn't even move cities. He went from a suburb in New Jersey to another house in the same suburb. What the fuck? Yeah, okay, buddy. Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous. That's so fucking stupid. What the fuck? Yeah, no. What is with like the not the asshole clips here? Like these are crazy. Like what the fuck is going on? Okay, we got another essay here, which is good. I'm liking these. I did not expect myself to like these as much as I am, but I'm kind of eating these up. Am I the asshole for ending my friendship while my friend is pregnant? I grew apart from my friend group after my wedding 5 years ago due to my husband clashing with one of my friends, Gigi, because they sold drugs. Valid. He works in law enforcement and asked why they didn't do drugs at the wedding, or asked that they didn't do drugs at the wedding, which she got mad about and turned it around, told me she's not standing up anymore and whatnot. One of my best friends, or I thought, was Maddie. Maddie slowly became this girl's best friend and slowly pushed away from me. The typical stuff happened. Gigi planned a bunch of fun events, and left me out. Gigi and Maddie became inseparable, and I let them. No blowout fight, no big crying fest begging for my friendship, none of that. Good for her. So when Maddie got married and she asked me to be the bridesmaid, she kept me at arm's length the whole time, until it came to using me. See, I'm an event florist, and she tried to use me to her full advantage. Not just her. Her mom called me to say how they're in trouble and they need me. What they really needed was to save money. I did the floral for her bridal shower as a gift for the wedding and shower, valued at $2,000. After her wedding, she completely ghosted me while hanging out and posting on Instagram with the rest of the girls. Then she told me a few months ago she got pregnant. I congratulated her after she asked why I wasn't pregnant yet. Backstory dealing with infertility, so I took it as a jab. Quiet in silence until her shower came up. I got an invite and rejected coming while being polite. Then she started calling and texting, and I told my husband I wondered what she wants. She and her mom were telling me how much they miss me and hope to see me soon. And then the bomb dropped. She texts me and says, even though you can't make it to my shower, can you come to my house and make the full arrangement? I will even purchase the flowers. I never said I'd help out. I never asked if they needed anything. I texted her back and I said I won't be available. No explanation, no apologies. I don't owe her anything. Good shit. She said that's totally fine, but she still wants me to meet with her and her mom. I politely declined the offer as I was busy. Fair. Then her mom texted me, asked if I still had florist resale license and an account at one of her floral warehouses to purchase florals at a resale value. So I didn't apply because to me, that's breaking the camel's back. They just wanted to use me for my resale license, and then Maddie tried calling a day after, and I also didn't reply. Am I the asshole? I'm beyond pissed, but I don't know if I should play nice since she is pregnant. Either way, after this fiasco, I'm dropping her completely. She just wants to use me. What is with everybody not being the asshole? Everybody is like not being the asshole at all. You're not wrong for setting the boundaries, especially when it sounds like you've already tried to handle this reasonably. At some point, it stops about being a compromise and starts being about respect. Amen. Not the asshole. Avoid these people at all costs. Sounds like they're users on different levels. They definitely aren't your friends anymore. Not the asshole. I wish it was people younger that it's okay to cut people off once you realize they only want you around just in case. Not the asshole. Who the fuck cares if she's pregnant? She's just an awful person. Just simply never speak to them again. These people are on great. I'm glad I'm not seeing anybody being overly like stupid with this shit. I'm so happy to hear that. This is crazy. Am I the asshole because I get annoyed at my boyfriend's health issues? Oh boy. I have health issues. So I am all for this. My boyfriend and I have been together for 2 years. He was a premature baby, which has a little to do with his behavior today. His health issues are basically headaches, pooping every time he eats, and constantly getting diarrhea each week from foods. Even when I eat it and nothing has happened to me. He claims he's lactose intolerant, but still eats and drinks dairy like normal, only to blow up the toilet afterwards. His constant complaining was fine at first, and now is truly concerned, but now it just annoys me. Okay. I was expecting like a heart problem or like, like a heart problem or like a lung issue or like a muscle problem or like some sort of thing. Not fucking lactose intolerant. Yesterday came to a boiling point when he and my cousins participated in an Easter race and hurt his chest. He complained constantly, even calling his mom. I put a heat pack on it, gave him pain meds, and put ointment. He was wondering if his ribs were broken. No other participant complained this much. Every time he moved an inch, he made this moaning noise, but when he wanted sex, he was perfectly fine. I've asked him to see a doctor many times to sort out his constant problems because it's like every week he's not well. I was genuinely concerned at first, but now I'm just tired and annoyed. It seems like he's a big baby and needs constant attention from me or his mom. I'm questioning whether I'm an asshole for being insensitive and annoyed. Maybe I have issues of my own or lack the emotional intelligence to care for someone. I can't talk to him right now because he'll be complaining that he's not feeling good. What do I say? I've run out of concerns and comforting words. I'm sick of hearing him speak about his problems. Help. P.S. I mentioned he's premature because his mom treats him like a delicate baby even though he's grown. Not the asshole. You just have an immature boyfriend. Your boyfriend's an immature preschool baby bitch boy who needs to mature and become an adult. He doesn't even say how old you are. But holy shit. Please, like, if you're not sure if you're lactose intolerant, you need to become more aware on if you are, if you aren't. Because if you're just using it to get attention, fuck you. Um, he he just I'm just gonna assume that he just expects to be babied all the time, um, no matter what, and it's just this stupid, really not hypocritical. Well, hypocritical, maybe. I don't know the full situation, but it just seems to be a really stupid situation that that poor woman's stuck in, and I don't know if she's gonna get out of it or that's just gonna be a really hard conversation to deal with solely because of you know that it's shit. Like that's shit. Like that is a shitty situation to be in. So, unfortunately, you're not the asshole there. I almost want you to be the asshole because then it gives you something that you personally can work on. But that individual alone just seems like too stubborn to move on from something, and that really is what's gonna put a throne in the or a nail in the coffin. Because when someone's that immature, the desire for them to want to improve is like damn near zero. So getting like asking for that improvement is asking for them to like take out a arm and a leg. So no, not the asshole, but I wish you the best of luck in that regard because sounds like it's gonna suck. Suck. Let me see on another one. Let me see. What the fuck? What the fuck? Am I the asshole for considering ending my engagement over AI? What? I know it sounds crazy. That doesn't even like begin to cover it. But hear me out. There is some backstory. I, 30 female, met my fiance, 29 male, a little over 2 years ago. Let's call him Mike for sake of privacy. We immediately hit it off and became very close. About a week after we started dating, I got a message from a girl telling me he was a liar and a cheater. He sent me screenshots where they had sent nudes to each other, but all was done before we got together. He told me he had spoken to her since we got together, and I believed him. Fast forward a few months ago, we now live together and have for over a year. I had borrowed his phone to look something up, which he had handed me and let me, and I saw a notification pop up for an AI girlfriend website. I asked him about it, and he told me that he had been going through a hard time, but I was also stressed. Parentheses, I was in college working full time, and it was around the holidays. End parentheses. He didn't want to add to my plate, so he made the account so he can talk to a girlfriend without piling his feelings onto me. I told him I wasn't comfortable with that, rightfully so, and it felt like a type of emotional cheating. Even though the recipient wasn't real, he was treating it like they were. He apologized, promised to delete his account, and not to use it again. I thought we were okay after that, and around the new year, I started really working on myself, including mental and physical health. I started losing weight, I started doing better mentally, and even excelling at my job. Mike was very supportive through all of this, telling me he was proud of me and he was happy to see me doing so well. However, I noticed he was much less intimate with me. He wouldn't initiate intimacy anymore, speak to me in an intimate way, and we rarely spent time in the bedroom. I asked him multiple times if this was due to my body changing and if my smaller body was unattractive to him. He apologized and assured me this wasn't the case. He had just been not in the mood. He had just started a new job and claimed that the stress from that, along with not feeling confident in his own looks, made it hard for him to want to be intimate. We had this conversation multiple times over the last few months, and his responses were always the same. Now comes when I found him last night. Mike is a big gamer, and we had set up a room in our home for him to go and play his Xbox whenever he wants. He goes in there frequently at night for late night gaming, and even more during the days when he's off work. So it wasn't unusual for him to excuse himself around 8 p.m. today to go play Xbox with his friends. He gave me a kiss and told me good night and went to his game room. I started getting ready for bed, and I wanted to ask Mike a question before we went to sleep. I walked into his game room, and he had his headset on, but he was texting on his phone frantically. What with that appeared to be a nude photo above it. I shouted, "What are you doing?" He immediately hid his phone and telling me he was watching porn. I demanded to see his screen. After some back and forth, he finally showed me his phone. He had an AI text thread open with a fake woman who he was sending inappropriate messages and photos, and he had generated of nude women. I also saw that he had a ton of these chats, all with different quote unquote women. All had been accessed within the last few days. I confronted him, extremely upset. He claimed that it was just porn and that there was no other woman, quote unquote, so it wasn't cheating. I went to my room, locked the door, making him sleep in the guest room. I asked him to go stay with his mother for a few days so I could have some space and work through how I'm feeling. And he refused, telling me I was overreacting and taking things way too far. I don't know what to do. I'm hurt and heartbroken. Am I the asshole? No. Um, that's really sad, honestly. That's honestly really sad. I think it's just porn addiction. And it's one of those situations where he can't be intimate with you because for some reason he must prefer that over physical intimacy anyway. And the fact that you told him that you weren't comfortable with it and that it was cheating in your eyes and he still did it again over the course of multiple days, months, whatever, it's really fucked up. And that is absolutely emotional cheating, and that really, really, really fucking sucks. And I really feel bad about that. I'm not even gonna lie. That sucks. That really sucks. I feel bad for her. I hope she's doing okay, because that's a brutal reality to face. Which also sucks because I know for an absolute fact that is going to be something that happens more commonly now that porn bots are everywhere. I'm sure that they are. Especially like Grok is now becoming a porn bot, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think there's been a couple problems with it causing some issues with like people asking for Grok to make nude things of non-consensual adults. So it is becoming a problem. Deep fake is what it's called. Deep fake. So that's unfortunate. Am I the asshole for telling my husband that he's not happy because he's choosing to be miserable? I, 31 female, have been married to my 35 male husband for 11 years. Wow, congrats. I love him very much, and we have 2 beautiful kids together, and overall, our marriage has been great. That's great. He's open with communication, and any problems we have, I know that I can talk to him about it. That is, until this week. He's in software development, and his job is stressful right now, with AI taking over pretty much everything. He's the go-to guy to fix anything that breaks, and his job is fairly secure. But his boss is micromanaging him, and he hates it. Recently, the company sent him on a work trip to fix something, and he was so miserable. He complained nonstop when he was told about it, was angry when he was there, and was so short-tempered at home, I didn't really recognize him. I tried to be sympathetic and understanding, but he just couldn't let it go. I tried to talk to him to work out why this was such a big deal and why he was taking it out on us at home, but he said he just needs a new job, but he's been saying the same thing for every job/move/project. He'll say that I have better habits when we move, or I'll be happier when I have a new job, or I'll be happy when XYZ. Fair. But he never is. We move to a new apartment/house and nothing changes. When he gets the new job and some coworkers making him miserable, he gets a raise and it's not enough. I take care of the kids, house, finances, food, schedules, doctor's appointments, everything but working a job. He only has to go to work and do everything else so he can just relax when he gets home, but he's still not happy. Brutal. So finally, I just asked him what happiness looks like to him. He couldn't give me an answer. I admit that I pushed him a bit on it, trying to understand why he was choosing to be miserable instead of deciding to be happy. I told him I didn't understand why an amazing home with a wife who loves him, kids that adore him and just want to play/just be near him, and a decent job, and enough money to have some savings and enjoy life wasn't enough. He told me that he'll be happy when he gets a new job and to drop it. Ugh. Growing up, I never thought that happiness was a goal or something that just happens when you have enough. My family struggled with a lot of hardships, and we were still happy. There were a lot of bad days for sure, and it wasn't the end of the world. If you went or without something just didn't work out the way you wanted. I can always try to choose every day to be happy, and no matter what circumstances happen, I can decide to roll with it, or I can make it worse by wallowing. So wrong to be upset with my husband for choosing to be miserable and taking it out on everyone around him, or is there something else I can do to help him? Honestly, there's a multitude of issues with this scenario. One, I understand the husband's issue here, um, completely. I think he just needs someone who isn't. Unfortunately, I think he just needs someone who isn't the wife to talk to, whether it be a best friend or a therapist or, um, you know, someone to talk to about the problem, and then you can see his mental health. Or it might just be a medical thing. You might need you might need medicine because he might just be depressed. That is an issue. I do think he's in the wrong. So overall, I do not think this woman is the asshole, um, at all. I understand why she feels the way that she feels. So I don't want to like not unjustify, but like not approve of her thoughts or anything like that. And I completely understand why she's being the way that she is. So no, absolutely. I think that this is I completely understand why this is upsetting. And indirectly he is choosing to be miserable because he's not seeking help, or he doesn't know that there's a problem or something. I think it's just it might be a way that he was raised where you just kind of ignore your problems and you just go forth with your life. And the reason that you're not happy is because of a circumstance that is something that you can be controlled by moving or new job or something like that. So it might be just a mindset that has been developed over time, but I do think it's something that's very solvable. It's not something that you should keep getting in an argument over, but it's definitely something that could be resolved with a good sit down with, again, with either your parents, or just talking through with your wife. Sorry, I forgot that it's not people my age. I was about to say these people are 30. It's definitely just something that the wife and the husband just need to sit down and have a conversation about. So again, not the asshole. So that's fair. Ooh, all right. All right. Last one. This is long. Oh shit. Okay, this is long. Okay. Am I the asshole for telling my sister, who just got out of the mental hospital, I'd watch all of her kids except one? Okay. Let me turn these lights on for this last one. All right. Let's look at this. I don't know where to start, but the title summarizes it. Title with 2 T's in the middle, by the way. My sister, both mid-30s, so both of them, okay, are not close. We were as kids and young adults, but fell out over her constantly rehoming our older sister's kids, who she adopted. Our oldest sister, A, was an addict and recently passed away. Damn. She lost custody of 2 kids when they were both around 2. The girl, P, is almost 17, and the boy, E, is 11. Damn. My sister adopted them through foster care / CPS. She also has 3 biological kids, 8 male, 6 female, 4 male. Oh. She also has 3 stepkids. Oh. She also had 3 stepkids, but can no longer legally be around them. 20 male, 6 through 10 ? Male and female. Shit. It took a few years for her to adopt each kid, and during the process, I was very involved. I cleaned her house to pass home visits a few dozen times, cleaned, cooked, hid pets, did countless lice treatments, etc. I'm not exaggerating when I say she wouldn't have passed the investigation process without the enormous amount of help she was given. She is and has always been a hoarder, and quite frankly, disgusting. Moldy dishes for weeks, shitty expensive cloth diapers sitting for just as long. Ew. She also has ADHD and some sort of PTSD. All of the things. All of us do / did. We had an extremely traumatic childhood, so I understood and didn't mind helping. Then she started getting worse. She would get chickens and keep them in the basement all winter. She got and rehomed a puppy every 6 months for a few years. She is now running a quote unquote rescue. She was briefly doing her elder care for people in her tribe at home, including her ex boyfriend and his mom, who lived with them and ultimately caused her marriage to break down. What the fuck is going on? All of this to say, she finally snapped and admitted herself for suicidal ideation. She's overwhelmed with caretaking, animals, all of it. However, she got out of the hospital and was immediately offering to babysit strangers in a Facebook group. My 17 female niece was staying with me for the duration of B's treatment. Okay, B is the problematic lady, for context. She has been parentified to the point that she has been in the same mental facility multiple times. B actually minimized the effects and the need for P's own mental health needs. Oh shit. The biggest reason B and I fell out is her refusal to let me take guardianship of my niece and nephew, who she has sent to everyone and anyone else. Their biological mom and dads, even during active addiction. Oh, okay, that was just a complete sentence. They have been sent to their grandpa's, their biological dad's foster dad, even as far as to Hawaii and to our own abusive mother's house. I am trying to keep this short, but the background only adds to the guilt of saying no. The 17 female was actually going to move in with me as I live in the city and she would be able to work and study. The poor girl has 0 high school credits due to everything above. B guilted her into staying, stating she needs her. I have begged. I have driven minivans, rented houses with extra rooms. The final straw was her buying a 900 square foot, 3-foot bed, 1 bath house for her, 8 kids, and 2 adults a few years ago. We stopped talking because I told her how stupid and selfish she was being. Her husband had 50-50 custody at the time, and all of the kids were under 18. Holy shit. Holy shit. That and my kids getting super lice, which required a prescription and a week of insurance approval 3 times in 6 months after assuring me it was gone every time. We stopped talking, and I spent little time with their biological kids. I sent the kids gifts, texted occasionally. The adopted ones knew that they were wanted and welcomed here. Bars. I heard bits and pieces of what's happened over the last few years, and more as we attempted to reconnect. It's awful. The kids were experimenting sexually with each other. What? Getting violent and everything else you can imagine. I've called CPS over the years. They intervened for a few months and closed the case, and she stops taking the kids to therapy. Fuck. She's incredibly lazy, inconsistent, and not all proactive with the kids. She blames the adopted kids exclusively for the sexual abuse, even when 17 female said the 20 male SA'd her. Holy fucking shit, what is going on? TLDR. What? On to the point. She gets out of the hospital and asks me to take her biological kids for a few hours so she can go to some party event the next day. I try to be polite and remind her the last time 4 male was here, he broke my youngest glasses and my oldest brand new $200 Harry Potter Lego build, $200 Harry Potter Lego build. She did nothing to reprimand or remedy the situation. I told 4 male to help find the pieces of their Legos. He refused. I waited and asked him to apologize. He refused. I asked her if she had timeouts or was planning to talk to him at all. She barely reacted. I said, I and my kids have too many things I cannot afford to replace. I could handle the older ones, but 6 as my own kids are 15, 10, and 5. It'd be too much to add an 8-year-old male who still isn't potty trained, a 6-year-old female, and a 4-year-old male. We went back and forth, and I told her I loved her. I told her she didn't think P needed the support she now expects for herself because of the hospitalization. She made excuses. She claims all of her kids have mental health. Sorry. What the fuck? I apologize. Holy shit. Claims all of her kids have mental health issues and also need support, but the adopted ones are just as bad and need to be sent away. It got to the point where I reminded her most of the above. She called me evil and said my standards were too high. I do feel awful. I feel evil. I want to help them so badly, but I told her I couldn't. I said I need to do one-on-one with him, but he's too much with a group. She blocked me. I feel like I should have just said yes for the sake of staying close to the kids. I wasn't trying to say never, only point out what I've said before, and tell her that she needs to stop volunteering to take more kids if she needs a break so damn bad. Also, start spending that time with and investing in her kids after being gone for a week. If you got this far, thanks. I absolutely hate this. I could have been more sensitive, but I don't know. Maybe I was just punishing her for not showing the same sensitivity to her kids. ETA, cool. I'll be an asshole for being 16 when they were taken and 17 when the adoption was finalized, so it was never an option to be a guardian. You grow up and abuse you don't recognize. You grow up and abuse you don't recognize. You think it's normal. It got progressively worse. It was not all at once. I listed the worst events spanning the last 10 years, having escalated in the last 5 when I wasn't around because she wouldn't let me be. As for defrauding CPS again, I was a teenager being incredibly manipulated by an insane and abusive family. Genuinely not genuinely sorry for not being able to see the fucked future or do more. She has had multiple CPS visits with her filthy house and with the abuse since they have done nothing, so I don't know how big of a problem it truly would have been. We grew further apart as she got worse. So, oh my god. First off, I just wanted to look over and I've like kind of glanced at chat every now and again, obviously. But for the random dude who asked if I could cash app him $10 because his mom needs it, buddy, what what does that even fucking mean? Like, what does that even mean? But anyway, no, I don't think you're an asshole here. This is a very, very, very fucked situation. I mean, this is very fucked. I don't think you're an asshole just because of how like shitty this situation is and based on the past. Operating with what you have, I don't think you're a asshole for this. Not at all. And someone is saying that they enabled it. I don't fully think so. I don't fully think that they're the asshole because they helped cause the mess or enabled it. I don't think so. I think in her mind she was pushing them towards the right direction as opposed to just, I think that she was trying to put him, like, believing that maybe this would put him in a good headspace, give her some responsibility, something to work through, work under, motivation to live, things like that, as opposed to, let me put these people in a shitty home and whatnot. So, no. I don't think you're the asshole, but there are some things that need to be done with that family. But CPS not doing anything about it is more concerning to me than her doing her things. So there you go. Are you a crypto bro? Yes and no. I look and I invest, but I'm not a heavy investor. I have investments and I'm positive, but I'm not. It's kind of my major. I'm a business major, so I'm invested in certain ones, but not like heavily. Fair question though. Thanks, bro. But back to this. I don't think, yeah, initially you could have been, but like this person says it perfectly. I thought you were because you helped your sister by cleaning and hiding pets, but you're a victim too and too young to realize what you were doing. Boom. Perfectly. I mean, that kind of hits with as well. Like, you weren't fully aware of what you were doing. Hence that as well. But also, I mean, in my mindset, if I was 17, I would also think that you would be putting them in a better situation. Just based on I've had that same mental thought where it's like, if I just get through this or I do this instead, I'll be better and I'll be healthier in some sort of way, or I'll be mentally happier. So I can kind of see where the not victim, but the author was coming from. So, um, yeah, that's where I'm gonna end that. Um, but as for the stream here, we've been streaming for 3 hours, just over 3 hours, and the podcast has been going for just over an hour and 20 minutes, I believe, or maybe, I don't know. But with that being said, thank you guys so incredibly much for watching this episode. I'm honestly going to keep the face cam on as celebration for the fact that it's the first ever live stream, and I think it's kind of fair that you guys actually see my face and just me talk. And I think it's kind of cool. If you prefer having gameplay posted, by all means, feel free to let me know. Sorry, I just hit my microphone. By all means, please let me know. I would love some sort of feedback. If you would prefer to, sorry, this is paste. This is thermal paste from my computer. This isn't like a needle for anything suspicious. It's a thermal paste thing, and you just do this. By the way, I didn't want to like trip anybody up. But again, the face cam's at 30 frames per second, so I'm hoping that's not too drastic. I only lowered it so it could appear better on Twitch, but when I'm doing recordings, podcasts, things like that, it's going to go back to 60 frames, no problem. So if you guys want to see more streams, or if you guys want to see more face cams in the podcast, please let me know. I would be thrilled to do more of those, just because I think it's fun. I think it adds more of a personal barrier to it, as opposed to gameplay and like another monitor of ranking media like I did last episode. So feel free to let me know. I am all ears, but like I said, if you prefer gameplay, I'm down to do either. I'm the probably least problematic in regards to that. So I mean, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for sticking by. If you've watched this far, I'm very grateful to have you be a part of this. I hope you liked the Reddit Am I the Asshole stories, and if you want to see more, let me know. I've gotten some pretty good comments over the last couple podcasts, so again, I really appreciate the support. You guys are awesome. I love each and every one of you. Again, thank you so much, and have a great rest of your night. Have a great week. I will see you next week. I will be uploading another podcast next week. I swear to it. And if you guys want to see more Am I the Asshole, let me know. Let me know. If not, I might do Reddit horror stories. Thoughts? Anyways, take care, guys. Love your neighbor. God bless. Be sure to tell your parents that you love them, or your siblings, or your grandparents. Tell somebody that you love them. Be good people. Love each and every one of you. Take care.